Hello and welcome, Budbrew.com here once again, bringing you this time some standard action. Even though the format is a bit at the stalemate right now and it's not super exciting, at least not until the next set, Magic Origins, and the metagame is kind of solved and there are no super cool decks and so on, even though I do like still a few spicy decks, but some of the decks which I really did like throughout the season are not really viable right now. So I'm looking for some shaking up in the format after Origins. And meanwhile, it's just Jeskai Heroic deck on the left side of your screen and Monogreen Aggro. Now collected companies in that deck, but Reverend Hunters and just super fast beat sticks with a lot of power, and of course aspect of the Hydra. I do like the green-white aggro with collected companies, that's for sure. This is just a budget option for FNMs and semi-competitive level events. Just something different for a change. Forest into an Elvish Mystic. Just to play some planes and passing off a turn from the Heroic. Nothing special yet. 2 mana. Up. That's 3/2 trample guy, which gets counters when it enters for each other creature in play with a counter. But a 2/2, I believe, reach, trample, 3/2 is solid. I just wanted to get some creatures, so I cycled Defiant Strike on the Elvish Mystic to draw a card. I kept a very risky hand with a bunch of tricks and pumps and auras, but no actual creatures to put them on. But against that deck, as long as I get a creature on time and get enough lands and not die super quickly, I should be good. I'm not really afraid of getting my creatures dying via some removals because it's mono green, so no Valorous Stance, no Dramokus Command, which are all like super nice and powerful cards, but I'm not playing around any of those here. So he just fetched for another forest, bash with the 3/2. For some reason decided not to attack with the Mystic, so that means he had some action. And it was the Deafness Raptor, on which I cast one of a few Guts Willings in my hand just to try and hope I get a creature next turn. I think it was Monster Mentor, which I saw from the top deck from the Scry, which I kept Elfie Forest and Mentor, hoping just not to die this turn and hopefully get some tokens going, torch on blocks and drive with the Mentor for 3 turns for a W. Because he attacks with both of his big guys here. No reason not to. My shields are down. So take 6 here. Then he casts a Reverend Hunter with basically 6 devotion, so he gets a 7/7. Pretty nice deal. So here I'm under a ton of pressure, but there is a chance I can cope with all of that. I'm tanking here, thinking like what's the best scenario for me to survive and also be able to still somehow win in this game. He curved out pretty nicely here, and I didn't have a creature on turn 1 or 2. So a lot of things didn't work out for me nicely in this game, but I wasn't yet super dead here. As I said, as I remember, I still had some copies of God's Willing in my hand, so I could block and still have my guy alive and make a token and scry, etc. I've put the white Ordeal the Heliod onto the Mentor, hoping to actually gain some life, but then I realized that I would have to burn a God's Willing in order to get through and get any counters whatsoever on the Mentor. So that's what I did, but because I would cast 2 spells here, I would get 2 Monk tokens to chump block next turn. And I'm hoping that next turn Mentor can actually get enough counters and gain me some life and so on. So I can just 4 here, no 5 here. 2 spells plus the counter. Untap skis from him. That's just a 2 mana 3/2. It's perfectly fine. Block with the tokens, 2 of his bigger guys, and then I actually die for Exactus from the Aspect of Hydra, which is actually pumping for 8 here. And pumping one of his free power guys, and that's exactly lethal. So that's really unfortunate game. You see me like shaking my hands in frustration. I had a ton of things to do, and I don't think I was killing him next turn, but if I would still be alive that turn, I think I was in a pretty fine position. Even if I would God's Willing and get some counters from Ordeal and then Battle Rage that wasn't exactly lethal for him, I think I was few points short, but very close. Anyway, I would gain a bunch of life. Or would I? No. I would have to somehow get another counter on the guy. Well, if I would draw like a blue source, then I would be able to cast Ordeal of Tassay and get the missing third counter to gain some life, to get some breathing room, and in the process make a bunch of tokens from all the spells I would cast and so on. But also the problem is that one of his 2 drops has trample, so that's a bummer. I actually would draw a Flooded Strand, so effectively a blue source. So yeah, it's kind of close, not really nice game for me, but oh well. Kinda close. Right, on to the next game there. Most of us pretty much know what is played in Standard and what is good in Standard right now, at least for the people who actually follow the format and play it still. But for the events I will be attending in the next few weeks, it's really irrelevant for me. And my teammate who's going to Vancouver, he would obviously wait for Origins. He would just maybe take a look at the top 8 deck list from some message he opens and things like that, but outside of that, we're waiting for Origins to figure out what he actually needs to do and what to test. We would have Standard open here right after the release of Magic Origins, and before the Pro Tour, so let's see. We would have one big tournament locally to check out what actually can work and what not. So there is that. Weird that I somehow thought that I started last game, so that's why I made him go first. So kind of taking turns who goes first. I had just a trial under turn 1, and meanwhile he had that silly one drop, the one which enters with the counter and also gives the counter when it dies. So kind of having a modeler. And the point being is that there is that 2-drop, the free to reach trample, which gets a counter for each creature with a counter implying when it enters. Now land number 2 for me, while he had a Nexus, so everything's going his way, while I just had that fabled hoplite and nothing else. Taking 4 here. Down to 15. I passed the turn and the turn. And now the third for me in the form of Boonseater. I was forced to discard 2 hand size. That was one lander on the draw with a 1-drop, so not a complete bust for me. Then he gets a Surak in, which would give haste, and I'm in a lot of trouble. So he gets haste, smashes in. I think I have something like a God's Willing or some kind of 1 mana trick. In Fable Hoplites, it would prevent all damage to itself regardless, but well, God's Willing will do it as well. So getting the counter on the Hoplite and eating a Boonseater, taking a ton of damage. I don't remember whether I scratched to the top or bottom. Anyway, land number 2, but it's Mana Confluence, which is hurtful a bit, to be honest. Right, then I actually get to get rid of the Surak with the Valley Resistance. I'm not sure why I did that on his turn. I'll probably say that he... I don't know. There was probably no reason to do it on my turn, but I would want to do that pretty much regardless, I think. Because Surak spells that any fatty that he plays gonna get haste, and I didn't really have any other good play available to me. He would just bash with everybody and get 5 mana from the... or was it 5? I think it was 5 from Nexus. Quickly changing his decision, obviously waiting for me to block, and then kill me by bestowing a Boonseater into one of his attackers. for a reliable finish. I don't know, I think he had only 4, but he would play Boonsater with a 1 mana left and then Aspect to Hydro and 1 creature I don't block, so that's still enough. Like, more than enough. So yeah, even though I kept some really shaky hands, but I don't know. It's kind of close. I think even if I get decent hands, this deck can race me pretty well. Unless I get quick Ordeal of Heliod going, and then he cannot really race me, stuff like that. But imagine if I would be any random green deck, let's say something slower than the heroic. So no, not Absent Aggro, but so on. So just notice how much of power very quickly and consistently this deck throws at you. I mean, the Monogreen Aggro. So I think even though it's a budget deck, but it's quite viable. I had the Laguna on turn 1 and then turn 2 got to willing it up to smash for 1 and actually get to scry. And then try land before passing the turn. His deck really wants to start with a Mystic pretty much every game. This time around he stumbled and mana. It was reasonable to keep from him on the draw to keep 1 lander with a Mystic, but well, he didn't hit his land yet, but he was still able to play a 2-drop. I think it was just a vanilla 3/2. Not super exciting, while I actually had a creature in mana and some tricks, so even if he would have a 3rd land here, I don't think many things would differ. I cast Center Soul on my creature, bashing for 2. So next turn I'll be crushing for more tricks in hand. And the mana confluence is not really working in my favor yet, but I feel somewhat ahead on this game. So he's meshing for 3. He got his 2nd land. And playing a Raptor. Which wouldn't stop me because of the Center Soul. But if I wouldn't get multiple sweet spells here, I would actually I might be actually outraced here. So I accidentally flipped the Battle Rage from my hands, but whatevs. So Defiant Strike, drawing and pumping my guy for 2 for this turn, with a counter and just a +1. So that's already, what was it, 4? Yeah. And then Battle Rage, so counter from a heroic, so 5, so that's 5 powered double striker. So smashing for 10 here. He goes down to just 7, I think. That's weird. I know he was at less than 17 because attacked for 1 and 2. Huh, weird. How is it 12? Oh, I miscounted. Anyways, he's probably dead next turn unless he does something insane here. So he plays that 3/2 2-drop with abilities. Then counting what are his options. Bastion with 2 free power guys, and then aspect of Hydro plus 5/7. So 6 plus 7, which is again exacties, goddammit. Yes, I'm again like really stunned by what the hell is going on. I had the protection spell for next turn, so he was dead next turn. Yeah, this is just insane. I got a lot of things going right my way and still lost because the math worked out better in his favor. And if not for Mana Confluence, I would still be alive, I think. So, yeah. Basically, Mana Confluence somehow killed me, even though I didn't use it that much. And I had a pretty fast clock. Oh well. Things happen in Magic. Right, moving on to sideboard. So I brought in one Laguna, which blocks a bunch of his guys, and just another 1-drop creature, 2 more Ordeal Heliots to gain some life and so on. Took out Defiant Strike, because they're I think the worst pumps for me, even though they contribute. Took out the one main that proves, because I don't have time for that. And he brings a lot of sickness for me. Mainly 2 Back to Nature and 2 Reclamation Stage, which is just absurd, especially Back to Nature. But because it's monogreen, so I guess it doesn't have that many sideboard options, so it plays those really crazy hosier cards. He considered first to bring in Disciples, but I think I talked him out of it. I'm not sure. So he's taken 1 Rager's Growl, which is not really needed because I don't really have removal outside of Valerie Stance. Takes out at least 2 Seracs. Told him that with his deck, he doesn't really need to deny his Disciple for life gain, because he actually can raise, and Disciple is not really helping him raise that well. It's gonna gain him a bunch of life, but it's 4-drop, which is kinda odd because the deck doesn't play that many lands, and there are only just 4 Elvish Mystics in the deck, even though there are some other 1-drops, but no other acceleration. So that's what he does. So 2 Back to Natures and 2 Sages, taking out 3 Seracs, skipping 1 I think. I'm taking out Kyle because he doesn't really need protection, while I definitely need to block his guys or get past all of his madness. So here are some post-cyber games. So far things were very tricky for me. It should be that this matchup should be positive for heroic deck, but because he has such a fast clock and aspect to Hydro is just a huge bounce spell here. So if I stumble a little bit, I'm pretty much dead, because his deck I think is way more consistent than mine is. Definitely Banned Heroic would be better against his deck, because Dramoga's command is huge. It would eat a Boon Satyr or make my big guy fight one of his guys in response to some pumps, etc. While the Timur Battle Rage is not really that amazing in this matchup. It shortens the clock, but I think I would much rather have access to green than the Dramoka's command here. Started with a Laguna turn 1 and he had a Mystic in turn 1. I think he started because we're just changing turns despite me still losing the previous game, because we're playtesting here. It's not playing just the best of 3 match for sure. Mana Confluence, Hero of Arrows. He hit his land number 2 here with 2 Mystics out. Cast Toughness Raptor, forcing me to have a protection spell. I think there's no Dent Protector in that Monogreen deck, I'm not entirely sure. Blue-White Temple and Scry, and I just played in a second hero, just setting up for a big turn. Next turn, he doesn't have a ton of things going on board, so I'm relatively safe. There's a chance he can play 2 things here and then threaten me next turn. Two mana in the Mystic tapped for another Raptor, right. So there is a chance that he has Aspect of Hydra here or not. But because of there's 1 active Raptor on board, and that means I just need a protection spell anyway. But if I don't block anything next turn, I could be that in aspect, but with 3 creatures out, I will have something to block with. Not sure which creature is better to suit up with the ordeal here, because they all get the counters for Heroic. I don't think it actually matters, while heroes can still block his Mystics and things like that, and I suppose I would much rather keep a bigger guy on board if I would have to jump. Subscribe to the bottom. Drew a couple of fresh cards. He took in, I believe, 3 damage? Yeah. Which is not a lot. Got White Temples crying. Debating about the Scry. So again, not a very spectacular development for me, but there is some hopes. He's not threatening lethal at all next turn yet. I suppose I need to block if he plays another like card with double green in its cost, because then aspect can get me pretty hard. So just attacks with 2 mystics, with 2 raptors, which is a kind of good sign. Aspect is for +6 here. So even an aspect is not a big deal here. I'm trying to raise, so I sacrifice the hero here. Just a 3rd Elvish Mystic and passing of the turn, which is kinda weird, I suppose. So that means that he is, what, flooded? Or just having a Sirac stuck in his hand, but he was able to cast it. So that's really weird. What he's up to. Probably just some aspect in hand at least. Because I'm not narrating this post factum, I don't get to see how many cards he had left in his hand here. Not drawing super well, even despite the ordeal of Tessa. His raptors are tapped, so Laguna is free to go. He doesn't really have a need to jump with a mystic here. I think I had a monastery mentor, at least one in my hand. Yeah, there was a monastery land, Seeker of the Way, and something else. But the land was a tap land, so it's kinda tricky what to do here. Cast a Seeker and pass. He ended turns Boonsater, so mystery solved. I have some spell up to block one of his guys and trade and gain some life back. I'm not sure what was exactly the correct line here. He's bashing with all the non-elvish mystic creatures. I'm hoping to trade hero for his Boonsater and then block one of the raptors with the Seeker. I think I have the Centered Soul, which means I'll get to keep my Seeker for later. Passing priority here. Waiting for him to react. Oh, sorry. So Centered Soul on hero. Getting a counter. I don't know what was correct. Which creature was correct to keep here. Either way, I would add 2 of his creatures and save one of mine. So I gained 3 and took 3, so plus minus. Three mana morph. which most likely is just another raptor. There is almost no chance it's a Den Protector, even though I'm not entirely aware of his deck list. So I'm smashing with here and Laguna here. He's debating how to block. I'm really curious what that morph is. And ta-da, it's just a Rattlecrow Mystic, which is really weird one to see here. Well, it's a Ramka, it's a 2-drop with some power, but still rather crazy. Well, he gets to get a Raptor back, which is kinda sad. So I suppose while Den Protector is not really all that cool in this deck, the Rattlecrow Claw is better, but I'm not sure. I don't think that acceleration ability is better here. I think I would prefer just playing Den Protector here. So he gets to eat one of my guys with a return back Raptor, which also dies in the same turn still, because my guy is bigger. Then post combat I just played a tap land and a Monster Mentor. And just one card in hand. Doesn't look super great for me anymore. I take the 3 damage. Before combat he bestows a Balanceator onto it. So I fall down to 3, which is scary. Quite scary. Ordeal of Death onto the hero. Get a token. Here is for 4. I think I'm just forced to pass the turn here. Which is kinda weird. Oh no, it's just that at the beginning of combat he just cracked a fetch and had 2 mana and back to nature me so that I don't get to have another counter on my guy and blow up the ordeal for 2 cards. So that's really nasty here. Destroying a lot of my hopes to get back into this game. Back to nature is such a crazy card. Outside of this deck there is so few decks that would actually play something like that. But well, on the other hand, some instance removal still would be nasty here. So back to nature just destroyed 1 enchantment here, which is not absurd. I still attacked with the hero and just deployed another Monastery Mentor with a couple mana up, but I'm at 3 life. So he's attacking with a very fat raptor with a satyr on it. Just plays the vanilla 2-mana 3/2. I really need to draw a spell here to be able to do anything at all. Instead I just draw a Fable Hoplite. With double Mentor it was just such a crazy bummer to not draw a non-creature spell, because that will definitely keep me alive. But here I think, well, he knows that I don't have any cards in hand. He just needed to attack with everybody, which he didn't do, and I'm very amused. He plays another raptor. I hope this is a non-creature spell, but it's not. I think it's just a land that I drew. And I just pass the turn. So yeah, really unlucky draws. Now he still doesn't attack with everybody well, because it could be like some instant which would make me cheat tokens and pump my mentors. I jumped with the mentors and blocked with my big guy. He's free to. He plays another 3/2. Really hoping this is something amazing. So Treasure Cruise in this position would have been pretty good, that's for sure, but if I'm getting to this point, then I'm either dead for sure or winning already. It's just a God's willing. I cast it just to see what my next card was, and it was just a land, so yeah, quick concession here. Really sad that this the way it worked out. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe, check the website, and I wait for more videos in standards and legacy and modern and some casual formats as well. So check us on all social media networks. I'm everywhere. Okay, bye.